Kenny, what do you take away from a game where you have so many guys out like you did tonight?
Just, I think your standard is your competition level, and I thought we competed. Defensively, gave us a chance. Obviously, didn't shoot it well, but and I really liked our bench. Again, Naquan. I thought Chris Livingston came in and did a hell of a job. So there's some positives. Obviously, damn, we had a tough time, stopping Ingram. He had some tough shots, 5-11 from 3. So, but I liked our spirit. I liked how we competed. I felt like we had to go with an extended bench, play those guys longer. We just needed fresh legs tonight. And again, I liked our compete level.
What did you think about the quality of looks that you guys were able to create?
There were some, if I was going to take a guess, there were probably 5 or 6 I wish we didn't take, where we could work it around a little more and get a better shot. And that counts in a game like this, right? So we got to keep looking at it. We definitely want to get them up from 3. We want to get good looks, but it definitely probably 5 or 6 we could have made another pass or maybe drove it, got another paint touch and got a little easier shot.
You mentioned Naquan. I know we talked about him before the game, but he played almost 32 minutes tonight. Just what can having...
I can't take him off the floor, Dan. It's like, you want him on the floor because he can defend his position. He's got great energy. Especially in a game like this where it's a speed game. He can get back in transition. He can do damage in offensive transition. So, man, I'm just pinching myself because that guy's going to help us. It feels like he's going to help us in big games. I feel like he really belongs, even with those starters out there. He fits with those guys.
We're about now a quarter of the way through the season, and I realize that you guys haven't necessarily been whole at all this year, but where do you think, knowing what you know now, you guys need to improve the most moving forward?
That's a good question. I'd say probably we can find better shots, I think, keep, and the big part of that is our spacing, I think, especially when we're down some guys, our spacing has to be almost perfect. And right now we're still trying to figure it out because with spacing comes our cutting principles. A lot of things come off that. So, get the spacing better, and our shot selection will improve.
Hey,
Chris.
Evan only got 7 shot attempts tonight. Was there something that Toronto was doing to kind of limit that?
No, I don't. I don't think Evan had the juice tonight. Been playing a lot of minutes. We've been playing him a lot of minutes. Just some nights like that where, they were putting their 5s on our wings, so we had to get them involved. So, one of those nights. But my coach in colleges used to say, that ball comes off the rim 60% of the time. So. You got to go and rebound. We got to rebound it better. He's got to rebound it better. But they did a good job on him.
What did you sense with him that made you believe that he didn't have the juice tonight? What did you say?
I mean, I don't think Don had great juice, right? Like we've been milking these guys, and I knew coming into this game it was going to be a tough one. They've been sitting at home. Our third, 3 and 4. We played the most games in the league. I'm not concerned or anything. I knew coming into this game this wasn't going to be easy, especially for our guys that have been playing big minutes. Obviously Don, you could argue the same thing. He didn't have his normal energy, normal juice, normal legs. It happens. That's why we played the bench longer. If I look back, you could argue you could have played those guys less. played our bench more. Tonight we needed fresh legs and fresh bodies. That was what this game was about. Unfortunately, we didn't make our threes. You make our threes, different story.
Throughout the course of the season, Kenny, what are you sensing with Larry Nance Jr. in terms of him getting acclimated to this group?
With Larry, it's finding his niche right now. I think we played him a lot at the 4. I'd love to get him at the 5 more. I think that's where he can really help us, and he understands that too. But I think since he sat those couple of games, I think since he's been back, he's been pretty good. Again, when we're playing these East Coast teams that are up and down and playing in transition all the time, we decide to go small, with one big only. So that hurts him a little. But I think he's starting to catch a little bit of a flow right now.
Yes, Coach. A question related to the game, if you allow me, related to your background as a coach. Last year you were talking about the impact that your time in Spain had in your actual coaching career. I want to ask you in particular about your time in Salamanca with Coach Pedro Martinez, one of the most reputed coaches in Spain. What did you learn from him, and also if you have any set play in your playbook?
From Pedro, listen. Pedro's a great coach. I played for Vino de Toro in Zamora, and so that was most of my time with Fernando Marchante, who's a great coach, but. Pedro, all us NBA coaches learn from him. I watch him on, his teams are always cutting edge. He's had a big influence on global basketball. Great coach. But it's great. I still watch his teams play. Just a ton of respect for him as a coach.
And as a quick follow-up, do you still watch him and things like that, but do you have in your playbook still like any still play, or whether if he's with Pedro or not, from Pedro or not, any
he has some offense concepts that we steal from him. I'm not going to tell you which ones because I don't want to give anybody a hint, but him and I watch a lot of EuroLeague games, Spanish League games, especially in the off season, and I'm always learning. But I've stolen a few things from his concepts, especially on offense.
Great, thank you so much.
All right, thanks everybody.
Thanks.